Agent Zero can be used to create alerts from existing telemetry. Earlier, we created a red metrics dashboard. Now, we're continuing from that same context and asking Agent Zero to create an alert for elevated error rates. You'll see that the generalist agent first triages the request and routes it to the right specialized agent for this task. We can then follow the entire reasoning process Agent Zero uses. It starts by analyzing error rates over the last 24 hours to suggest thresholds. In this environment, there isn't enough continuous historical error data over the last 24 hours to compute reliable aggregates. That's why these steps return no data found. Even without strong historical baselines, Agent Zero continues the workflow. It falls back to a standard, well understood error rate based alerting pattern. Agent Zero proposes the core alert query. This query calculates error rate per serving using span metrics. We can do a lot with it. Query Builder opens this query in the PromQL builder so we can run it interactively, tweak labels, and validate results. Format cleans up indentation and readability. It does not change query semantics. And then explains, breaks the PromQL expression down step by step. It explains the query in plain terms and also includes debugging hints. Then Agent Zero recommends two thresholds. 5% is used as a degraded threshold, and 10% is used as a critical threshold. Degraded is meant to catch early signs of instability. Critical represents a level where user impact is likely and immediate attention is required. These are default starting values. In real environments, thresholds are tuned based on baseline behavior and traffic pattern. This next block uses the same base expression but adds the threshold comparison. The threshold is a template variable which allows the same query to be reused for different alert levels. So basically, the PromQL expression calculates the error rate, and the alert comparison turns that value into an alert condition. This next part is particularly useful. Agent Zero explains why these thresholds were chosen. Earlier in the day, several services showed very high error rates, and after around 10:52 a.m., error rates dropped back into a healthy range. This shows that a 5% and a 10% threshold would have detected the issue earlier and would not trigger during normal operation. Agent Zero then suggests us what to do next. It tells us to configure the alert using the PromQL expression, to attach notification channels for degraded and critical states, to monitor how often the alert fires and adjust thresholds if needed. If some services behave differently, we could also introduce service-specific thresholds. Now we'll create a check rule directly from the dashboard. In Dash Zero, every dashboard panel can be turned into an alert. That means we don't need to rewrite queries or start from scratch. At the top of the check rule editor, we see a live preview of the query over time. This lets us verify that the query returns data before enabling the alert. The base expression is the same PromQL used in the dashboard panel, grouped by service name. Here we switch the expression to use the error rate ratio and compare it against a threshold variable. The query still calculates error rate per service. The comparison against threshold, the variable, is what turns this into an alert. Now we set threshold values. We configure the critical threshold at 10% and degraded threshold at 5%. These values are evaluated independently per service because the query is grouped by service name. Next, we can choose how often the check is evaluated. Here it's evaluated every minute, and each evaluation runs the query and compares the result against the threshold. Next, we configure grace periods. The for option means the condition must be true for one full evaluation window before the check fails. This helps avoid alerts caused by short-lived spikes. And the keep firing for option means the check recovers immediately after the first successful evaluation. So once the error rate drops below the threshold, the alert resolves right away. The summary is the short title used in notifications, and the description is the long form message shown in the notification body. The notification channels determine where alerts are sent, such as Slack, PagerDuty, email, or other systems. We can route degraded and critical alerts to different channels if needed. Labels add structured metadata to an alert. They're used for routing, grouping, and ownership in downstream systems. Annotations add human readable context. They appear in alert UIs to help responders understand what's happening. Unlike labels, they are used for routing and not for explanation. Putting it all together, we used Agent Zero to create a dashboard from existing telemetry, and then we reused that same logic to define alerts. Finally, we turned that into a concrete check rule